And welcome back to another episode of the Undefeated. I'm George, your host, alongside Jalen.
Hi.
Cage.
What up?
And Will.
What's up, guys?
I am the new host. Chris and Noah have graduated. So
Thankfully.
This is a new year, a new cast of guys and girls maybe, and we will be discussing a lot of different stuff. But because it's such so far in the beginning of school, we are going to do a lot of football. So we're gonna start. This podcast is gonna be all us describing, what our predictions are for all 32 NFL teams.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We're gonna begin with the AFC North, the AFC South, the AFC East, and the West, and then the NFC North, South, East, and West. We're gonna start with my favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I think the Steelers are going to go 8-8 because they have a young core of players and young cores of players after losing veteran talent like Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. Sometimes they rise to the occasion, but sometimes they just fall through the cracks. Like younger Ben Roethlisberger, when he came in, he was a young player that rose to the occasion, but other quarterbacks like, I don't know, Mahomes, who only won one playoff game, don't always rise.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're going to go 10-6. That's my prediction. I love Juju. I think he's going to be awesome. James Conner is a workhorse. I think James Washington, who's going to be that second receiver on the team, is going to be really good. Devin Bush, who they drafted in the first round last year after trading up with the Broncos, is going to be a great tackler. He made 10 tackles in his preseason debut. I just really worry about that Steelers secondary.
Yeah, the secondary there, their best player is Joe Hayden, and he's in his 30s now, and that's when players that have to run, like secondary players that aren't like linemen or linebackers, start to decline because they have to be able to catch up with the kids who are 22.
Yeah,
the Steelers just aren't that good.
My guess on the Steelers is somewhere near Georgia's, actually. 11-5, first in the division. I don't think the Browns have proven anything yet. They haven't even played a game with their new starters, or new all-stars, or superstars, my bad.
Steelers won't win the division.
I don't think the Steelers
know why? Do you know why?
What do you think? Okay, what do you think the record is going to be?
8-8.
Okay,
Where in the division?
We're in the division.
Where? First, second, third, or fourth?
Third. I think the Browns are gonna be first.
Who's going to be second?
The Ravens.
I don't believe the Ravens at all.
No.
Ravens even got even.
I think
got
the
worse
Ravens'
this year.
defense is going to carry them, if anything.
Ravens defense, where they lost all their players.
The Steelers won't be last. The Steelers will be second.
Yeah,
or
they
third.
got Earl Thomas.
They won't win the division.
They got Earl Thomas.
I don't think it's enough.
They
to be second.
They lost C.J. Mosley. John Harbaugh has consistently had a great defense. He had Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, and then he had forgot his name just now, and Suggs.
Yeah.
So he's gonna work.
Right, but those guys have been around for forever. He's starting to lose. I mean, Suggs is now a Cardinal, and everything. But no, I think the Steelers end up second in their division. But if you rank them fourth, I think you're kind of stupid because you have the Cincinnati Bengals in that division, and that's where we're gonna go next.
I don't think I would rank them, the Steelers, second. I'd rank them second or third with a tiebreaker with the Ravens.
All I'm saying is that
because tiebreakers.
Pittsburgh still runs that division. Browns and Ravens. And the sorry Bengals have nothing to give me to believe that they are going to be first.
So what do you think the Bengals go?
4-12, 5-11.
I
think they have double-digit losses.
I think
they finished bottom of the division, and you know what? Maybe last year they went 4-2 and they pooped the bed. So I believe they'll do that this year.
I bet they're gonna.
Again.
I think they might go 6-10 because their new coach. They lost Marvin Lewis, who was a disaster for however long he was a disaster for, and then they have A.J. Green coming back from his foot injury, and then they have Tyler Boyd, and then who's their running back, isn't it?
Mixon.
Yeah, Joe Mixon. The only bad part about that offense is the line and Andy Dalton.
Yeah, well, that's exactly why I'm agreeing with Cage here. I think they go 4-12. I don't believe in Andy Dalton. I think their defense stinks. And
AJ is just he's injury riddled.
AJ is injury riddled, and he can't carry the team by himself. I think him and Mixon have good seasons if AJ doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, they have good single seasons, but not.
I don't believe that they can really carry a team past.
AJ Green is like
7 wins.
In a way, he's like a Calvin Johnson player who stands out on a crappy team but can never win because they won't build the team around him.
Yeah. All right, and next is.
So you're not gonna ask me how I feel about the Bengals?
I mean, I'm leaving.
Jalen, how do you feel about the Bengals?
How do you feel about the Bengals, Jalen?
I mean, the Bengals do suck. That's just facts, you know, FAX. And I just believe that the Bengals are probably gonna have one of the worst records in the NFL.
I think they
Bottom
have.
three?
They're
Bottom
definitely
three?
going to have a top 5 pick, but I don't think they're going to have maybe a top 3, but not
Yeah,
the
I don't
first
think
I
pick.
mean, but who do you see in college right now that's gonna be able to help the Bengals?
Yeah,
we'll talk about that.
And then
come
their
April.
first draft pick got injured. Their Jonah Williams got injured.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
their
but
line's going to be
we can
crap.
talk
right now.
about draft picks at another time. This college season hasn't even begun yet. So,
Yeah.
now let's move on to the newcomers in the division, guys who people have been picking to win the Super Bowl, and that's the Cleveland Browns.
I think they go 10-6 because they're a young core that's only been together for 3 months now. Haven't played a game. Have a new head coach. 13-3 is just too much. 10-6 I could see because their strength of schedule isn't that hard.
I say 9-7, 10-6. They 100% make the playoffs for me.
Yes.
I think they get the wild card because I still have Pittsburgh winning the division.
I don't know.
I think all of their new guys will do good. I do believe it. Chemistry will be good, but I don't think it's enough. Just enough yet. Maybe next year.
I think that they could make a second half push to win the division though over the Steelers with Kareem Hunt coming back.
I was going to
week
say,
8.
Kareem Hunt does come back week 8, so that might
they're
be.
gonna have one of the freshest running backs who led the league in rushing yards his rookie year before
I'm
the
sad.
incident.
Sad for that one. It's okay.
I mean, we learned from past history, you know. So, I mean, just look at the Cowboys with Dak and Zeke's first year. You know, no one ever seen him on tape yet, so they're going out there macking on him. You know what I mean? So I think with the Browns, where they set up, they're in a great place to go at least 13-3.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. You can't play with. They have the youngest roster in the NFL. Young teams do not win Super Bowls, or go 13-3.
I mean,
They get-
Y'all keep saying that I'm saying they're gonna win the. I never said that.
okay.
Yeah,
they're
but-
not going 13-3.
They have to play the Steelers twice, and the Ravens twice. So they might get a win. They might 1-1 each of those, and then they have to play. They have a bunch of different primetime games. I said they could beat the Ravens. I don't know. The Ravens
they can
are.
beat the Ravens
John Harbaugh is
definitely
consistently a
both
good.
times.
defensive
Maybe they'll
coach.
mess up
Speaking
the
of the
Steelers,
Ravens,
but they'll definitely beat the Ravens both
but-
times.
Okay, I like this team, especially. I mean, their offense is amazing. I mean, you have Mayfield, who's a great quarterback. OBJ,
It's an all-star team.
Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, who I think is a better running back than Kareem Hunt, but Kareem Hunt is going to be there as well. Their offensive line worries me a little bit. I mean, it's going to be okay, but they worry me a little bit. And other than Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, who is on the defense?
Joe Schobert, their middle linebacker.
Joe Schobert is not that good.
He's a consistent Pro Bowler, and he's good.
Yeah, but-
He's a
but
good tackler,
I
good
mean,
zone.
they have a couple of good players.
Greedy
but they
Williams.
Just, oh yeah, Greedy Williams, a rookie. But.
And then they have the proof that they still have the youngest team again, their linebacking core, other than Joe Schobert, who's
Offense
rookies.
wins games.
Yeah.
Defense
okay.
wins championships.
Yeah.
I knew he was gonna say that. I knew he was gonna say that. Offense wins games though. 13-3. That's me.
Okay. Wow.
I still don't think so. They have to play the Steelers and the Patriots.
I'm gonna go 11-5
For the Browns?
for the Browns.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and then the last team in the division is the Baltimore Ravens.
I think the Ravens
They suck.
probably are going to go somewhere in the 7-9, between 9 and 7, somewhere in that range.
I think they go even 8-8 or 9-7. I think they finish third of the division.
I think that they have a tiebreaker with the Steelers for second.
Okay.
I don't believe in the Ravens. Joe Flacco's a bum, and so maybe they improve some. But
I don't believe in Lamar Jackson. He
Joe
can't.
Flacco isn't even on the
He's
team
a
anymore.
running back who
yeah,
thinks-
what I'm saying is they're gonna improve a little bit because they don't have Joe Flacco to even worry about with the starting job. But
Yeah, but
Well-
Lamar Jackson can't throw very well. He's fast, but if you see him actually play against the NFL defenses, unless he's in the pocket, he is inaccurate
that's what I'm
50%
saying.
of the time.
Is I don't think that Lamar Jackson is that great of a quarterback. They also don't have many receivers. Their running game is not great. I mean,
They signed Mark Ingram,
They
who
signed
was
Mark
good
Ingram,
behind
who was
with
good
Drew
behind
Brees.
Drew Brees, but that's also because they also had Kamara, which I think helped his running game.
Yeah, that's why the Saints were super good, because they had fresh legs all the time.
Yeah, and then I just don't
About
believe in
the
their
Saints.
defense.
I have a very hot take about the Saints when we talk about
Okay, well that's gonna be a minute. So
PS Super Bowl champion.
okay, great. So we're gonna move on to the AFC South, starting with the Houston Texans.
Houston
they're good. They're
Houston
good.
Texans go 11-5. Deshaun
definitely
Watson
really good.
is a great quarterback
They're really
who,
good, though.
if he would have been able to stay healthy, would have definitely won Rookie of the Year. The year that he started, he made the top 100 list with like 6 games max on his resume. His rookie year, he's also has DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller to pass the ball to, and they have Duke Johnson in the backfield now.
Do you have any? Do you worry about him being injury prone?
I think he bounced back well from the ACL injury, making it. And if you bounce back from an ACL injury and you don't get re-injured, it doesn't get it. The worry is still there, but you don't have
not
to
as
worry about
much.
it as much
Yeah.
because they came back from it and then had a really good season.
I still worry about the running game. I like Duke Johnson, but he's more of a receiving back than a running back.
And
Their offensive line has been injured.
Their offensive
often.
line is ranked in the top, in the bottom, in the lower 5 of the NFL.
Yeah. I like their defense though, except for their front 7 is really good. It's their secondary that concerns me.
Isn't their best player on the secondary Jonathan Joseph?
I thought they lost him.
Oh,
I think they did.
Yeah.
and there's trade talks involving Clowney.
Right, but
Because-
you definitely want to get a trade talk for either picks or secondary players or corner or safety.
Because Clowney, though he's really good, but the Texans are paying J.J. Watt, and they can't pay both.
I don't believe the Texans. I don't believe in them.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe there's a
Isn't-
second. I don't believe. I don't.
I never said they were going first. I just said they were 10
I
and
don't.
6.
I don't believe in Watson because after he pooped the bed last year against the Colts.
Well, that's not a fair comparison. The Colts had Andrew Luck, T.Y. Hilton on the offensive side, with Marlon Mack also on the offensive side, and then they had Darius Leonard, the defensive rookie of the year, in the linebacking core, going mobility across the field along with their secondary, which was
What
pretty
did the
good.
Texans finish last year?
10 and 6.
They won the division.
Yes, I believe.
They did.
Yeah.
Where did the Colts go?
10 and 6 as well, I believe.
So
Yeah, I
they had
think
tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's when they played
Well,
the tiebreaker against the Texans.
in the final game.
I mean,
of the season?
against the Titans in the final game of the season,
Yeah.
and the Colts beat them. It was
Okay.
a go to the playoffs.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Okay.
I have the Texans going 9-7. I'm with you on the. I don't believe in Watson that much.
Yeah, I love Watson. He's an amazing player to watch. I hope because they do verse on Sunday Night Football this year, Kansas City and them. I can't wait to watch those two go off, Mahomes and them. I just don't believe in Watson to carry
I mean,
this team. It's like looks like a Cleveland young players kind of.
yeah, young players, but
or
Watson
leading.
has
Yeah.
better receiving threats than the rest
Yeah.
of that division because DeAndre Hopkins
I-
can
I-
catch almost
okay.
anything.
I
in the
could
agree
see
with
that. I'm just really worried about that secondary. Screwing themselves.
Like, how can Watson come back from a defensive?
Good, mediocre offensive teams can make the playoffs, but it's the defensive teams that win in the playoffs. That's how the Eagles won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Their offense was meh with a backup quarterback, but the defense is what carried them.
Like, what do you trust Watson in a game for the division after his defense just gave up, a 10-play 5-minute drive?
If he has Will Fuller and DeAndre Hopkins both healthy,
You trust
they
him?
both. I would trust them if they found a reliable third.
I think they need a reliable tight end.
Yeah, but
and they
as
haven't
a
found
tight end,
that.
They have to find a reliable tight end and a reliable third option.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to move on now to the Tennessee Titans, which are very polarizing with polarizing quarterback Marcus Mariota.
6 and 10. I think they go 6 and 10 because Mariota has become injury prone. Though they signed Adam Humphries in free agency, he's just another one of those players that is just mediocre. And then their running game, they have Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry is a player who plays in streaks, doesn't always go off. And then their defense is, I don't know anyone on their defense.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Yeah, I know a
There's
lot.
Jarrell Casey. That's about it.
There's Jarrell Casey, and he's, 35 now?
Yeah.
Oh, and isn't there that one fast cornerback unless he is off the team?
The one that's
Malcolm Butler.
No.
The Butler, but
But
someone else.
Butler's there, but
Butler's
a system
Dory
player.
Jackson.
Yes.
Yes, Dory Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah,
But Butler
just
is a
because he's
system player.
fast doesn't mean he's a good.
Oh yeah, no,
quarterback.
yeah, I know what I'm saying. I know,
Yeah.
I know his name from
But
recent years.
speed doesn't mean everything at the corner position, but it can mean a lot at the receiver position.
Yeah, which I think is kind of maybe where he should move to, especially give Mariota, think about a Tyreek Hill type,
Yes.
I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Tyreek Hill or have the hands Tyreek Hill
No
has,
one's as
but-
good as Tyreek Hill. He can outrun literally anyone in the NFL.
But definitely I think Adoree Jackson could, definitely be good there. I worry about Mariota's injury proneness. I
worry about Mariota as
They had
a
to
quarterback. That's how I worry about. Not
They
his
had
injury.
I think he's a decent quarterback.
He's
okay. I don't think
like the guy.
just doesn't
He's a
have that
good quarterback, but
leadership mentality.
he is injury prone. They had to the tiebreaker game. It would have been a way better game if he wouldn't have been injured at the end of the season last year. They had to play Blaine Gabbert.
That's right, because he didn't play the last
Yeah,
game.
they had to play Blaine Gabbert, who is.
Was that game close? You guys remember?
It wasn't very close.
No, I think the Colts blew him out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is,
But on the bright side, they have a reliable backup now in Tannehill, who has taken
and
the
I
team
like
to the
the signing,
playoffs.
but I mean,
They
Mariota's
traded for
going to
him.
get hurt in week 3, and Tannehill getting hurt in week 6, and then where does their season
We're
go
gonna
from
have
there?
a quarterback situation.
Yeah. So we got that. I don't really love their defense, as you said, especially the secondary, and their offensive line worries me as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I know they got Conklin
They have what's his nuts
and
Taylor Lewan.
but they got nobody in the middle of that.
The outside isn't really what matters. It's stopping the tackles, because the tackles are. If you think about it, if they have to play Aaron Donald, Mariota's gonna get sacked like 4 times that game at least.
Yeah.
I think they finished third in the division.
I think they finished last.
I would say last. Probably 6.
Because that's a really
10,
hard
7,
division.
9.
It's
My bad.
It's the Jags, the Texans.
I think they finished last with 6 and 10.
And then moving on to the Indianapolis Colts.
Indianapolis Colts. I think they win the division with a record of 11-5.
Even with all this stuff coming out about Luck being hurt.
I did hear about that. I was a little confused. I didn't know he was
think that Luck,
getting injured.
even though Luck is hurt, that if he comes back at some point in the season, that Jacoby Brissett can lay an okay foundation, because it's not really fair to compare that 2 and
I would rather
14
have
season or whatever that he
I'd rather
had.
have Jacoby come in earlier and have Luck
Yeah, exactly.
take it in
Yeah,
for the
just
final.
Because
maybe
Jacoby,
7
though they had a
games.
bad season when he was their starter, they didn't have anyone around him. Now there's
Yeah,
like a
That's true.
supporting
That's true.
cast.
'Cause I was like, I remember when Joby was starting, they weren't really that good.
Because
But that's because they didn't have the weapons yet.
I think
Yeah.
T.Y. Hilton was injured then too. So.
Yeah. I like I like Jacoby Brissett. I also like Marlon Mack. I just worry about that running game. Just because I don't know, I like Marlon Mack, but I don't know if he's going to be able to be pushed through like they wish, because that's one of the Colts' main problems, and has been their main problem for a while, is they haven't had a running game.
Yeah, but the Colts also have one of the best top 5 offensive lines in football. They only gave up 8 or 10 sacks last year.
Well, the funniest thing was they had a bottom 5 offensive line, then they draft one guy, and it turned into a top 5. That's crazy.
It's also probably because Quentin Nelson, from the reports that I read, he's always there an hour early working
Yeah,
out.
that's
and
what I'm
then
saying.
staying
They
an hour
drafted
after.
Quentin Nelson, and that's why.
And he also came from a winning culture at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he was the no-nonsense pick, and I love that guy. Cage, what are your thoughts on the Colts?
11-5. I think they win the division.
I still worry about Luck's injury. I'm gonna go 9-7 with him, just because
9-7.
I really worry about his injury, and I worry that he is just not. The Colts as a whole are just not gonna be able to perform as well without him.
But I think I would keep them. I would meet you in the middle at 10-6, because they have a really good young defense with Malik Hooker, Darius Leonard, and then their defensive line has some talent on their defensive line.
And then let's go to the last team in the division, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think the Jacksonville Jaguars go 7-9 because Leonard Fournette has after his rookie season has become injury prone. Nick Foles, he is a player that can't carry a team to the playoffs, but in the playoffs he can carry that team. He's the clutch player that every NFL team wants. And their defense last year, though it was good, I don't know. I think it was just a one-year wonder thing, that of being like a top 10 defense with all of that on there.
Really? I mean, they still have a lot of stars on that defense.
They still have a lot of stars, but like a defense would have had a better year. Would have, even with Blake Bortles at quarterback, should have.
Okay. A, it's Blake Bortles, and B, who's a wide receiver on that team last year?
D.D. Westbrook, Marquise Lee.
Okay.
They don't have good receiving threats.
No, they
so.
don't. So I love the defense. I think it's going to be great. It's the offense that truly worries me. I absolutely agree with you on the Nick Foles point. I definitely think that he is way better postseason quarterback than he is a regular season quarterback. Leonard Fournette, hopefully he doesn't get hurt. I love the guy, but we'll see from there. And then they really have no threats as wide receiver.
I mean, D.D. Westbrook and Marquise Lee, they're fast, but they can't don't make the clutch catches. And on defense, they got Josh Allen, 5th overall from Kentucky, and he's a really outstanding pass rusher.
Right, but still no receivers. Cage, what do you think?
I think they bounce back. They go 8-8, and they hopefully do better. I think their defense. The defense last year they were good for a couple games, and they just
stopped caring.
They stopped caring because they knew it was over from there. They didn't have any chance.
You know it's bad when you had to put Cody Kessler in as your starting quarterback for the last 6 weeks of the season.
Yeah, thanks, Blake.
They'll bounce back though.
Yeah.
How does Blake Bortles get signed, but Colin Kaepernick doesn't? I mean, I don't necessarily like Colin
he's
Kaepernick,
still getting
but
blacklisted though.
Yeah, because
All right, and then now we're going to move on to the AFC East and start with the defending Super Bowl champions, New England Patriots.
9-7 because Tom Brady is declining. He can't make the deep throws anymore. He's going to become one of the most predictable quarterbacks in the NFL because he can only make throws that are less than 20 yards. Everybody's going to cover Edelman because everybody knows that that's his target because Gronk is gone. And their running game, they have streaky running game, and their defense is it's there, but just because Bill Belichick can make any player look good doesn't mean that their defense will look good as a whole.
Bill Belichick can take a 5'9" white guy working at Walmart and turn him into an all-pro wide receiver. The Patriots go 12-4. And Tom Brady doesn't look as good as normal, but that whole team as a whole, the defense, even though it never looks great on paper, it always seems to work out really well for him in the end. And that running game with their running back, the guy that they got in the draft last year in the first round.
Sony Michel, right?
Yep,
yeah,
Sony Michel. I
is.
think he's going to rock out for them this year. And, that's why they go 12-4. And that's because Bill Belichick is is the best coach in the NFL and maybe the best coach of all time.
I say 9-7 again because I think that Tom Brady's he thinks he can. I don't think he's going to win another Super Bowl in his career.
Cage?
Maybe.
We always know not to doubt the Patriots every single year. That's a death wish waiting to happen. You never bet against Tom Brady. Everybody knows that. I'm gonna keep doing it on Tom Wright. So I'm betting against Tom Brady this year. I'm gonna go. Not really. 10-6. That's my record guess for them. I don't have them winning the division either.
I don't have them winning the division.
Which is somehow
It's the first time since
I do have them winning the division because there's nobody else in that division.
I beg to differ. I think that the Jets, if they can make Sam Darnold work, and that they signed
Le'Veon.
They signed Le'Veon Bell on offense. They signed, I keep forgetting his name, on the linebacker on C.J. Mosley on defense. They already had a really good young defense there with Jamal Adams and Leonard Williams, and now they have an offense. They have a really good offense with Robbie Anderson.
I'm about to say, is he suspended?
I do not believe that he's suspended.
Yeah. So the Jets, I think the Jets are like a worse version of the Browns.
I think that they're a sleeper team this year.
Agree.
I think that they're gonna do well. I have them going 9-7. Darnold still has to learn. I don't think I really like him, but I think he's still got to develop a lot. Other than, Robbie Anderson isn't that great. He's decent, but he should not be the number one wide receiver on a team. I think Le'Veon Bell is good, but we still got to see what he can do after being gone for a year, you know?
I feel like
those are fresh legs.
He is very fresh. He hasn't had any wear and tear on his body since.
And he keeps
maybe fresh legs, but
social media, he's always working out.
We never know, maybe if, we've seen guys who have been out for a year and look rusty. We don't know if he's going to be rusty for a year and then come back. We don't know. Maybe he's never the same guy he was. It's just so questionable that I have questions on him going 9-7.
If he can come back from 3 ACL tears in a year in a row, and then that 1 year he comes back and still be as dominant as he is, I think he can come back from 1 year of sleeping and having not even injuring his legs, come back and be the way he was.
He'll be able to just come back because of his catching out of the backfield ability and his elusiveness. The reason
Le'Veon Bell worked so well, I'm going to reiterate this a bunch of times during the season. The reason Le'Veon Bell did so well is because he always had a top 3 line in front of him, and that's why he was able to be patient and then hit the hole because the line was always blocking really well for him. The Jets' offensive line is not the Pittsburgh Steelers' offensive line. Therefore, he won't be able to be as patient and won't be able to play his game like he would have been able to in Pittsburgh.
I agree with that, but I feel like they'll play harder for him because they know he's a superstar talent that can carry them into the playoffs. He is, in my opinion, a top 5 running back in the NFL.
Let's see. Now going to the Buffalo Bills.
I don't think we should talk about this. I think we should get the records away. I'm going to go 4-12, 5-11. One of those two.
I think that they go 7-9 because Sean McDermott in his first year there took a team that had Tyrod Taylor as the starting quarterback into the playoffs and ended a year one of the longest playoff droughts in the NFL. And I think Josh Allen is a way better quarterback than Tyrod Taylor ever was because he can run the ball, he can carry the team because he's the quarterback.
All right, I'm gonna let you know something right now. Josh Allen is not the quarterback you think he is. He has no accuracy whatsoever. He has a great arm, and his legs are gonna start dying because he's not that great of a runner. Tyrod Taylor is a much better runner than he ever was. And I think that because he's not accurate, he can make 70, 80 yards. He can throw probably as much as Patrick Mahomes, but the thing, Patrick Mahomes has accuracy and touch, as Josh Allen doesn't.
That's why you take a quarterback in the first round and work him is to develop him into the quarterback that you want. That's why you have the first 4-year contract.
But that doesn't always mean that they will develop, and I don't think Josh Allen will develop into that quarterback. I really don't. I don't think he will. That's definitely a guy I've never trusted. And, LaShawn McCoy is, over 30, and he's still trying to run the ball.
So they also got Frank Gore.
Okay, Frank Gore's almost 40.
Yeah.
The man needs to kind of retire, dude. Like, come on now. And then the defense, I really don't. I like Ed Oliver. I think that was a great draft pick. Other than that, they don't got much.
The defense on the Bills is actually pretty good. They have Tre'Davious White, who's kind of a beast at corner, and then with Ed Oliver, I think that then Sean McDermott is spawns from the Andy Reid coaching tree and can.
I don't believe in the linebacking core, which I think is what makes really a part of a defense really good. And I really don't trust Josh Allen. I have him going 6-10.
I'd agree with the 6-10 because they have so much to prove and so little talent on the team.
Cage, what's your record
For the Bills, 4-11, 5-12. I don't care about the Bills. I do think
4-12, 5-11. Yeah.
Oh, what did I say?
You
I said
said
4-11, 5-12.
Yeah.
One of those two.
Let's move on to the last team in that division. The team nobody cares about, the Miami Dolphins.
2-14.
Damn.
I had better for them too.
Yeah.
I think that they have the worst offensive line in football. They have a quarterback who looks like one of the next draft bust in Josh Rosen that's most likely going to start. And if Fitzpatrick does start, he's one of the most streaky players in the NFL. They have Kenny Stills as their number 1 wide receiver. Their best player is Xavier Howard, a cornerback. And other than that, there's no talent on that team.
I like the running game. I like Kalen Ballage. I think he could break out as a good running back. I know the offensive line is not good. I have not a lot of faith, but a little bit of faith in Josh Rosen. And
me too. Yeah.
I just think that them working like that, I really believe in. I believe in Rosen. I think they go 5-11.
They're also
Cage.
I believe in Rosen this year, just a little bit. And he's not the quarterback he was supposed to be. I don't know if he's supposed to be anything, but I think he does decently well and puts them around the Bills. 6-5-4, one of those. How many wins right there?
I don't think their new head coach is going to work. He came from a Bill Belichick run team, and I think he's going to expect that everyone wants to work the same way they do in the Patriots system, which is come to work every day and we work around you, not you work for me. So I think that the new coach flops and they go 2-14 or 3-13, and get the number and last in the division and last in the league.
That's pretty low.
First pick.
And then so now we have one last division, and we will start with the reigning MVP's team, also known as Cage's team, the Kansas City Chiefs.
You can go. It's your team.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking. I'm gonna go. I believe in too much, and this is my honest one. It's 14-2. I think since there's a Madden curse or whatever, or a declining quarterback after having such an amazing one that he did last year. I think he's a quarterback bred quarterback from Andy Reid. Andy Reid doesn't let his quarterbacks, decline the next year. Alex Smith. Who else is there? What's the name? From the Eagles. McNabb, yes. He never lets the quarterbacks decline. And I think he's going to stay consistent. He's going to keep his receivers consistent. He has Tyreek Hill back. He's not going to be suspended. I don't know if you guys are watching their preseason games, but Darwin Thompson, a little jitterbug, just like how Tyreek Hill is. There's McCole Hardman. That's speed. I call him the Kingdom of Zoom. I don't think anybody can keep up with them. You said Cleveland was the youngest team in the league. I think this team is the youngest team in the league.
Well,
they have more age on their team. I do not think that they're going to go 14-2 though. They don't have any. The only player they have on defense right now is the Honey Badger.
Yeah,
and he's kind of overrated. So
okay, well, you guys.
Oh yeah, and Frank Clark.
Some sleepers. There's Frank Clark. There's Chris Jones. There's
that
defensive
line is wonderful.
Yeah,
that defensive line is going to wreck some stuff this year.
Yeah.
It's the entire rest of the defense that worries me.
Because they have
nobody else. There's nobody else. They have Tyrann Mathieu, who is way overrated. The man is called a honey. Bro, the dude is garbage. The man is hot trash, and that's why he keeps jumping from team to team because he is hot garbage. And you got nobody else. You got nobody else.
Earl Thomas. I'm sorry.
In the secondary and at linebacker, you got nobody else.
I don't think that Earl Thomas would have gone to the Chiefs because he went to a team that already had a good defense, and I don't know if the Chiefs are probably trying to save their cap
from what the talks were that the Chiefs were twice hours away from signing him, and then he backed out and went to them.
Well, everybody thought at the beginning of the free agency that he's going to go to the Cowboys, but here we are.
That didn't happen either.
Because he said, I want to go play for Dallas, and then he flipped off in Seattle.
Speaking of that, I don't agree with the release of Eric Berry. He only got $1 million from cap from. I think it wasn't worth it.
I think that it was worth it because he was a wasted roster spot
that's
because
true,
he was
so
always injured.
Yeah,
he was coming off an Achilles injury, and then before that it was a leg, another different injury, and then before that it was another.
I think that we should have kept that for 1 year, one more year, and to see how he would have done. But
I think that has he been signed yet?
He is not. He's still free.
I think that he's going to stay a free agent until the injury bug hits. Some teams.
Yeah.
Also, in that, I think the Chargers got hit with the injury bug the worst this offseason. They're not going to have Derwin James until the playoffs.
Yeah. But I do believe Mahomes still stays. I
don't think he wins MVP.
I don't think MVP again, but I think he lights the skies up again.
I think he throws for 4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns.
Yeah. I'm going 12-4, and it's just because of the defense. I believe in Mahomes, even though I think he'll take a bit of a slump. I don't think he's going to have as many touchdowns or yards as last year, but I think he's still going to be amazing. Running back really worries me. Other than that, I think the team is going to be really solid.
If they would have just I think that if they wouldn't have cut Kareem Hunt, they would have definitely made it to the Super Bowl. Maybe not won the Super Bowl, but if they wouldn't, he would have gotten suspended. But he would have been better for telling the other running backs what to do as opposed to just straight cutting him.
I know what you mean.
Because he's when he's in the game, he's a top 10 running back.
Two words, George, for your running back thing. Just remember the name Darwin Thompson. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Just remember that name. That's there we go. All right, on to the next. Let's go.
Okay. Next team is the Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos. I think that they go probably 6-10 because Joe Flacco. Though he won a Super Bowl, he also had Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and Haley Nagata in his prime. And then I don't know. Thank you. I didn't know how to say it.
Haloti
Ngata on his team. And then now he has Von Miller and Bradley Chubb on the other side. His most reliable receiving threat is Emmanuel Sanders.
Well, I mean, I think Demaryius Thomas is gone.
Yeah, he plays for the Patriots. After tearing his Achilles in Houston.
Yeah. Hot take. Drew Lock starts in week 6 because Flacco looks like garbage through the first 5.
I think he will start, but I don't think they wait that long. I think he starts week 4.
Yeah. Joe Flacco is trash.
He's not trash. He's just...
Joe Flacco is the ultimate check-down machine who can't throw it past 20 yards and has never been – he's been successful 1 year doing that. And It was mostly because, as you say, defense win championships. His defense has always been really good. And I think the Broncos' defense is really good. But I don't think that Flacco can lead a team like that anymore. And I don't believe that, he has that great of a... I mean, they got Phillip Lindsay, but I just don't think he has that arm anymore that can be able to... I mean, especially just to Emmanuel Sanders, basically, because they got nobody else.
Well, they got Noah Fant in the draft this year and Cortland Sutton last year, but Cortland Sutton didn't perform at the rate that they wanted him to, and their offensive line is in a bad place, and their only bright spot on their defense is the D-line with Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, and that's about it.
I don't pay attention to my rivals in this division. I'm just going to go with pure straight guessing and hate. I think, but I don't think they do as bad as you said. I think they finished second. No, my bad. They finished third.
I think that they finished last.
I have them finishing second to last, and I think they go 7-9.
Okay.
I think they go 6-10 and finish last.
Fair.
Because it's like, in my opinion, the AFC West is the hardest division in the NFL.
I agree.
I think it's the AFC South, actually. AFC South or NFC South? Pick one, because they're both really good divisions.
I still think it's the AFC West. They have 3 teams with the potential to make the playoffs in their division.
Okay. No.
If maybe not Derek Carr-led Raiders, but any other...
Yeah.
Let's
head to that team, the Oakland Raiders, and I'm going to start this one. No. The Oakland Raiders go 8-8. Actually, I'll have them going 8-8. Derek Carr is
that's generous for how you showed it off.
Yeah. No, but I'm about to crap on their entire team.
Okay.
Half of their team is suspended for the first 6 weeks of the season.
That doesn't help. B, Derek Carr is a system quarterback whose system fit greatly with Jack Del Rio,
There's no way they cut Jack Del Rio. I mean, I love them.
Yeah.
They fired him to hire John Gruden, who proceeded to come in and get the 4th overall pick.
Yes.
And go 4-12 and get 12 total sacks on the whole team.
Yeah.
They traded
away letting go
Khalil Mack, who had 12 sacks himself.
And then hired fired Reggie McKenzie, who I loved, and hired a clown who has just been on TV and has never proven himself as a GM.
I think Mike Mayock is going to work kind of as a GM because if you think about it, he was a respected analyst analyzing college players and picking where people were going to go, and he knows how to evaluate talent. He's been paid to evaluate talent his whole life. Now he's just getting paid to acquire the talent.
Yeah, well, just because, I mean, he may not do a terrible job in drafting, except for the positions that they drafted were all not need positions. They drafted a running back, which you can find a lot in the NFL. You drafted a safety, which isn't always a great pick. I mean, you can find safeties. That was probably their better one. And then they drafted they drafted a pass rusher, they drafted a pass rusher way before they
drafted Cleveland Farrell at 4 when they could have taken a way better.
Yeah,
he was projected to go early second, late first. And they took him at 4.
Yeah,
that was almost as shocking as the Daniel Jones pick.
I definitely think that Josh Allen should have gone before him, without a shadow of a doubt.
I agree with you. I think that they would have been better off taking a better linebacker because Vontaze Burfict is just going to keep getting suspended and racking up the fines.
Yeah. So I mean, even like like you're saying, like a Devin Bush or. A Devin
White was still on the board.
He was still on the board. Was still on the board at 4, and then the Buccaneers picked him up at 5.
Yes. So I don't think that John Gruden, he acquired all the right draft picks, but I don't think he used them the way he should have.
No. Amari Cooper seemed, I think now that we've seen him, he's definitely worth a first, especially since they picked up Jonathan Abram with that pick, and then obviously getting rid of Khalil Mack for 3 first-rounders that are all going to be in the 20s to 30s is not.
Well, when he traded them, he assumed that they were going to be top 15 picks because the Bears were so catastrophically bad.
How much does a team catastrophically change when they get a top-tier pass rusher, which I think is the top pass rusher in the NFL?
I think Aaron Donald's the top pass rusher in the NFL.
It's tough. I think that Aaron Donald's the best defensive player. I don't think he's the top pass rusher.
He can go through any offensive line.
And so can Khalil Mack.
Yes, but Khalil Mack can get blocked one-on-one by Jason Peters, and Aaron Donald cannot.
I don't know about that.
I watched the Eagles Bears playoff game, and Jason Peters one-on-one Khalil Mack the entire game.
There are some players
and let up no
that
sacks.
can block Aaron Donald one-on-one. Now, Khalil Mack sometimes doesn't have great games, but I still think he's the best. The best. Okay, at the position of
Okay,
pass rusher,
are we calling him an outside linebacker or an end?
We're gonna call him outside linebacker because that's what he's at. Like, I think he is the best at that position. Outside pass rushers. Let's go with that.
Outside pass rusher,
him
I think it's
and
Von
Miller are the two. But I think Von Miller right now has a better career. I think Khalil Mack is the better player because A, he's younger, and B, I think he is the better player.
I think that Von Miller is better because though the Bears have a really good defensive line with Akeem Hicks on it, I think that Bradley Chubb and Von Miller are one of the scariest ends.
And you're just gonna leave out Roquan Smith? You're just gonna leave out Leonard Floyd?
We're talking about pass rushers.
Bring it back to the Raiders.
Okay, yeah. Let's bring it back to the Raiders. Okay, so the Raiders I think are trash, but AB is a great receiver. He's a absolute clown with a capital C. That bum left the Steelers, and now all the frostbite and everything. I just sit back and laugh.
And he filed another grievance against the NFL last night.
He's an idiot.
What, to use a helmet from the last 10 years?
Yeah, because he said that he didn't get the 1 year grace period, so that now he's not. And then Mike Mayock finally came out and said, no, it's either all in or you're all out or you're off the team.
Okay, well then kick him off because he definitely ain't all in.
And I don't think if he gets cut, I don't think anyone signs him. Because
How about that one?
Okay, maybe someone signs him, but no one signs him for the money that he's going to want, so he's not going to end up getting signed.
Jacksonville?
Okay. I mean, Jacksonville
can
can't really afford to pay him right now. They have to be able to pay off Jalen Ramsey when he's off his rookie contract. They have to pay
Cincinnati just to take it to the Steelers.
But Andy Dalton would still find a way to make Antonio Brown look bad.
Yes.
To be honest, if it wasn't for AB beyond the Raiders, I have the Raiders.
I would have
16, 1-15.
Yeah.
That's my pick.
Yeah.
That's if they didn't have AB.
And then, but I think the Raiders. I think that y'all are lowballing the Raiders a little bit because they also have Tyrell Williams.
Who?
I don't. Yeah.
He's 6'6". He's a really good wide receiver, but Keenan Allen was always in front of him, and Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, but there's also a
quarterbacks
dude
have
named
favorites.
Derek Carr trying to throw the ball and not well.
Okay, just because I can throw a ball better than Derek Carr doesn't mean that Nathan Peterman can't throw a ball. That's their.
Yeah, he can throw a ball right into a defender's hand.
Yeah, John Gruden really came out and said that he
likes this kid.
He likes Nathan Peterman.
You see that?
Yeah. Well, I'm super happy if he's one of his Gruden grinders, but I really, frankly, could care less. He threw more passes. He threw more interceptions than he did touchdowns. He almost threw more interceptions.
He has 10
than
interceptions
he
to
did
1 touchdown in his
completion.
career.
Yeah, that's 10 interceptions to 1 touchdown. There are more defensive touchdowns against him than he's thrown.
That's really sad.
That's really sad.
And then he still got a starting job from the Bills week 1 last season.
Yes.
When they definitely had. I know you don't think Josh Allen's a good quarterback, but he's
Allen's
definitely better than Nathan Peterman.
Yes.
Like, he's not. I think Josh Allen has the potential to be a top 15 NFL quarterback, not top 10, top 15.
This year?
Or in the future.
Okay.
Because everybody knows that the only 2 teams in the AFC East that are competing right now are the Jets and the Patriots.
All right. Well, moving on from that, we got one more team left.
My dad's team. My dad's team is the Chargers.
I'm ready to destroy this team with
I think that the Chargers
I'll go first.
and the Chiefs both go 12-4, and the Chargers get the division because of a tiebreaker. Because
wait, who wins the division?
12-4 tied, and the Chargers get the tiebreaker because the Chiefs rest their starters and the Chargers.
I could see why. I could see maybe that.
And I think the Chargers.
The Chiefs definitely won't rest their starters if they know.
You see,
that's true.
But I think that they go 12-4 because they have a proven quarterback in Phillip Rivers, who just because he can't, it's not his fault that he can't win in the playoffs. Did you see how bad his defense was in the playoffs last year? And then they have Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, and then Melvin Gordon. If Melvin Gordon stops holding out, they have a top 5 offense in the NFL. Their defense is really good.
Pass rushers is amazing. Corner, that whole team is really solid. I don't believe in Phillip Rivers in the playoffs. I just don't.
I believe that Phillip Rivers will make it to the conference championship this year.
And I also really don't. I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing at linebacker.
I think their linebacking core needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I think that with a supporting cast of with a player like Derwin James that can also come in and play.
Actually, Derwin James, he's out for a little bit.
He's out for the season.
He's out for at least half the season. If not
Yeah,
more.
but when if and when he does come back, he's a top 5 defensive player.
Well,
in
for
the
the
NFL.
time he's not there.
Yeah.
And they drafted Uchenna and Nwosu a couple years ago, and he has potential. I think the Chargers and the Chiefs are the 2 hottest teams in football
Chargers
right
go
now.
10-6.
This is my
Chargers and
this,
Chiefs
this,
are the
this
hottest
is just
teams
my
in football.
take out of pure hatred for these Bolts. They're bad. I don't like them, and they're always overhyped every single year.
Okay,
They can go 12-4, and Kansas go 12-4. I don't care. They can't win.
okay,
I
I
hate 'em.
understand your
They
overhypedness.
are always overhyped.
They're always overhyped. They always do really bad at the beginning of the season, but
And them and their 3 fans can go. I don't know.
but then like
They haven't. They beat Kansas City one time in the last 10 years, and it was because Kansas City fell asleep with 4 minutes left.
and if you like the draft class that Phillip Rivers came out of, it produced a ton of really good quarterbacks, and in my personal opinion, he's the only one that I can see winning a Super Bowl left in that draft class.
Wrong.
I do not think Ben Roethlisberger is going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon.
I don't think Philip Rivers is ever going to win a Super Bowl. Ever.
I think Phillip Rivers is going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, though.
Yeah, but so will Ben Roethlisberger.
But are we really going to say that people really going to say that if Phillip Rivers without a Super Bowl can make the Hall of Fame, that Eli Manning with 2 isn't going to make the Hall of Fame? I don't think. Like, that draft class in itself is one of the greatest quarterbacks
Ben
classes.
Roethlisberger is a better quarterback than Philip Rivers.
I think that in the past that may have been true, but now Phillip Rivers has more supporting cast around him. He throws way less interceptions than Ben Roethlisberger, because Ben Roethlisberger is a turnover machine. But he gets a lot of yards, but he also threw a pick to a defensive lineman in the end zone.
That's fair. And then blamed Antonio Brown.
Yes.
So that is going to wrap up the first half of this podcast. We're going to finish it in another one. We went through the entire AFC. This has been fun. We will finish up next time, and peace out.